I'm just out here messing around and I'm going through my brass stuff. I got a lot of brass there and fittings and stuff like that. And I have two of these. One is, this one's big. This one is, I think that's 3/8 NPT. Alright. This is an atom muffler. And it's used just to diffuse any noise coming out. Like if you had an air pump, you could get rid of the puffing sound of the air pump and the piston going up and down. I have this big one, and I have this little one. And I thought the little one, being that it's 1/4 inch NPT, I put a 90 on it, and it's on the back side of the engine where it would be between the fan and the oil fill cap. And it's kind of like steampunky looking, like old school copper and aluminum. And this is not big. I mean, look at my hand. Look at this one compared to it. This one's huge. This one almost looks like that. If I could get a bigger one, that's what I'd use it for. That'd be pretty neat. But instead of the little stupid chrome cap you can buy from any one of those places, this is a little, just a baffle. I was also thinking about putting a T off of this. Instead of just the elbow, put a T, and I could run a vent to each valve cover. But I gotta stay away from the exhaust, so it could come down and go around. And I was also thinking of doing it in copper tubing. Give it the whole, you know, the whole like patina of a like an airplane. Or these copper fuel lines back then. And it'd be just a breather line. Could do a copper fuel line if we had to. But it's gotta be safe. But I thought that thing looked really cool right there. Once that fan shroud's on, there's plenty of room for it. It actually doesn't even sit. It doesn't sit back as far as the carburetor does, so there's plenty of room for it. And I can see the slits for the vents right here, where they come up. So it'll fit good. This is that aftermarket bolt-in aluminum billet, blah blah. I really don't like it, but I like it with this cap on it. Maybe I can get a different one, or maybe I can make one. Or I was thinking I could make a big cap that threaded into there that had this sticking off the side. So when you want to fill it, you just unscrew it. It's a hell of a breather, that's for sure. This thing is huge. That might be an idea too. I like the little one for now. We'll leave it there. See what happens. Alright. This is like a late night. This isn't the new one yet. I'm waiting for the new one. My friend Hank is powder coating it red. And hopefully I can put that thing on tomorrow. Look how big this one is. I wish I had a huge one. I would put it right there to replace this thing. I have to look around. Maybe I can make a base. Find a bigger one. It's something I'm playing with. I love the copper on aluminum. Tarnished a little bit. Cleaned it up, but I think it's better you just tarnish it. Alright. It's going to be a big weekend. Hopefully I can put a lot together. We can get this thing. I do have the, like I said, I do have the bar now. I have to get a reducer though. I don't have a 3/4 drive. I got to get it down to 1/2 inch. So I need a reducer. I have my 36mm socket right here, ready to rock and roll. We're going to get that to 253 pounds. I have to make like a bar to go across. I'm going to put my, I don't know if I can use the engine stop. I don't want to crack the case. That would suck. So I'm going to just use the bar across probably this one and this one, and put it on the ground and try and get 253 foot-pounds on that thing. And then we start, put the shroud on. I got to fix my clutch problem, like I said. What else do I have to do? Oh, I put a little stove black in here just to fill in the crack, because it seemed all the brake dust collects in here, and it makes a hell of a groove. I dug it out with a wire brush on the end of the angle head grinder, this one right here. Cleaned out that area, and you would not believe the crap that came out of there. So it's all nice and clean now. I put some flat black on it, won't hurt it. Alright, this is the back of the engine. The crazy little vent thing on it. And we'll see you tomorrow. My little garage. Bob's heading over. We're going to hit the flea market. The wife's gone with our son for the day. Do a few things. I got some more wire from work. This is from a Stanley Duraglide automatic slider, and nice heavy stuff, and a lot of it's got, you know, connectors on it already. But for free, it's for me. That's what I wired most of the Trike with anyway. I cannot forget my phone cord here, or I will have a dead phone. I did pick this up at the flea market last time. It's just a cigarette lighter adapter thingy. Thought I'd make something out of it. But the parts pile is getting thin. There really isn't much left but, you know, gaskets and stupid things. I'm hoping today that my oil filter and my oil pump show up. This is that little weird air filter thing I put as a breather vent. I was thinking, excuse me, I was thinking we make some copper lines that come up and go around and do loop-de-doos and whatever and connect to the breather as like a crankcase breather. They usually punch them in the back and go up and around, but if I'm going to make them out of copper, I want them to be seen. So probably 1/4 inch, or I think 1/4 inch is a good size. And we'll do some 1/4 MPT taps in the covers and the adapters to the copper tubing, and do a loop-de-doo and come up over here and connect it to here, just to give a little copper color like the airplane. Hopefully I can get my placard sometime. I'd love to put my shroud on, figure out where I'm going to mount my coil. I did find a pack of riv nuts the other day. They were right here. I threw them on the bench. I thought I threw them on the bench. Here they are. These are rib nuts. You drill a 3/8 hole, you put these things in the hole, and then you tighten it up and they expand. They're pretty cool. I use them, if you remember, to mount a couple horns. I want to use them to mount my coil, but I want to mount my coil where it can be seen, and I don't need, you know, this thing's like 3 feet. I don't need a 3-foot long coil wire, so we're gonna have to shorten that thing up. I like it. It's really sharp looking. Can't wait to see it in the hole under with the body on it. That'd be pretty cool. I hope it's easy to get the body on, because I got to go up over this big high air cleaner in the shroud, and I don't want to damage anything after all this work. But today's the day we go to the flea market, find some goodies, have some fun, and hang out with a friend. Alright? Maybe visit Hank, see if that thing's done. I'd really love to throw this generator stand up on the shelf and put my alternator stand on, put the alternator in place, da-da-da-da-da. It's a Volkswagen engine's a big puzzle, because sometimes something has to come off to get something else on, and like the engine tins should have went on before the exhaust, but they do fit over it. The oil filter gets in the way, the oil cooler gets in the way for this one, but you can get it in there. It's a struggle. You can put your intake manifolds on, but then getting your booties in is a bitch, so you're better off to put your booties in with your plug wires, then do your intake manifold. And then when you get the intake manifold, then you realize that, oh, the shroud's in the way, so you have to have the shroud off to get the intake, to get the ends on, to get the covers on. It's like, it's a big puzzle. A lot of these things fit very, very close to each other. And you end up, I probably have to take this intake off to get the shroud on, you know what I mean? It's that backward sometimes. I know I don't, so I still have one bolt to get right here, but it's not that it's pressing, it's inside, it's behind the engine, and it's not in the fan shroud, so I do need to get a bolt for that. That's something I'll remember today. I need some metric bolts like this because I only have a couple, and I need 2 for the shroud right here. They use this, but I don't have that. I don't have the vents. I'm just going to run it wide open. I always have. Every engine I've had has them wide open. That's the heat riser vents. I never put those things in, because if they get stuck shut, you would be in so much trouble. And it's an open air engine, so I'm not worried about it. I've had every engine I've had, I've taken those things out. It's not like I'm driving it in the winter and it needs to. I know it's an air cooled engine and it has to warm up a little bit. All you do is sit there for a minute. It's like any air cooled engine, like a motorcycle. You got to sit there and let the thing warm up. You don't just get on and go, unless you've been riding. And I mean, that's the first time you're out. I'm not going to get many more pictures of this. That's it. Going out for a bit. I had some video from the other day, I think when I was messing with this. Yeah, I'll mix that in. But I'm going to do some more. I'm just going to find some time and got to live life, you know what I'm saying? This one comes right off. I'm ready to throw that thing in the woods. I noticed this muffler's got a lot of dents, and it was nothing I did. Maybe it was the way they did it. Not like you can see it under my apron, if there's going to be an apron on the car, I don't know. I would like to get the vents, the sheet metal tin that goes off of these bolts right here, and goes down and back, but I really don't have to, because I have the nice shroud tin. The aftermarket stuff that covers the whole cylinder and leaves the sides open, so it just forces the air around so it cools a lot better. Usual problem was the bottom. They only put this stupid little metal plate to cover it in between the cylinders, and that's all it was. This one is like, it directs the cool air over the cylinders, keeps it nice and cool. It's like I think they're like cheap. They're like 15, 20 bucks. So overall, how much do I have into this thing? I will sit down and I will add it up and I will put a number on the screen, including the 40 bucks that I paid for this engine. Oh God, so much stuff. I'll add it all up, give you a number, and you can get a general idea as to how much it costs to clean up an engine this much. And there are those things that are free, like, you know, having something powder coated. Spray paint costs you what, 8 bucks? You know, high heat paint, things like that. It all adds up. Alright, see you in a bit. Well, here's a big update. The new clutch is in there. You can see it. We used Dawn's Snap-on. He had it right here. His Snap-on pilot tool. We did have to take the clips off of this race and pull it down out of the way to get it out of the way, because it wouldn't fit inside this circle, but it would fit inside the clutch. So it's all piloted and it is perfectly straight in there. So we have a new clutch. The pressure plate's all cleaned up. The flywheel is torqued to 253 foot-pounds. We did it with the tool. We put the tool on this side considering the load would go this way, so you got all the strength here. It didn't budge. One click, bang, 253 pounds. I borrowed my neighbor's big ratchet, big torque wrench. This is a half, 3/4. All right, mine's a half. This is a big one. I bought the reducer today for 5 bucks. It was actually a 3-pack. This one goes from 3/4 to 1/2 inch, and the socket was 1/2 inch, so 36 millimeters. There it is. So she's almost ready to go on the Trike. I am going to run and get some 17, I believe they are. I'm bringing a bolt with me. 17 millimeter nuts for the 2 studs, and the 1 stud up top of which goes through the case like this. This one is threaded, actually. Yeah, that's the threaded side. This is the bolt that goes through, the starter bolt is through the other side, and there's a nut and bolt on here, nut and bolt on here, nut and bolt on here. The starter bolt is the one that isn't threaded, so the starter bolt needs a nut. This one's pre-threaded, so this is the bolt that goes in this one. When you set the tranny up there, you just go doo-doo-doo. Do that sound again. Doo-doo-doo. And because it's an AE engine, I don't think the other engines were threaded up here. But they got smart. They went, you know what, it's a pain in the ass to get your hand back there to get a nut on it. Why don't we make it threaded? So you just stick the tranny up there. I can't get a wrench in here. And we'll have it pre-threaded. Goes right in. So I gotta go get 1, 2, 3 nuts, and this engine could physically go on right now, either with or without the generator stand and the alternator and all that. But I'm gonna clean up the path in here too. I don't know if you can hear me now. I'm gonna clean up the path so I can spin it around or back it in or something. I just got a lot of stuff in the garage on the floor right now, including it has its own personal coat to keep it warm at night. Bag of trash, nothing crazy. Lawn chair, vacuum cleaner in the way. I was cleaning out in here with the vacuum cleaner because I got sandblast dust in there. I got my book over here. I got my Bluetooth speaker, which only goes on with my tablet when my tablet's hooked up. This is the thing I got for $7. I don't think I showed you on video yet. Looks pretty good. It's not very loud, but it's loud enough. Out here, now I took this wire brush and I cleaned all the grooves in the shaft and the tip of the shaft, and then I soaked it all down with copper never sees, and then I wiped it off clean, and then I put a heavy load on the tip because this goes into the bushing, but this just sits in the flywheel and I don't want too much grease flying around in here. A little bit on the threads, just so it doesn't stick on it. There's also like a drain port here I never noticed. It's a little tiny, probably 3/16 hole. I never noticed that before. But I took the brush and I was cleaning out the crap because I never really cleaned out the inside of this tranny. But the throwout bearing is nice and quiet. I had like 3 of them and this was the best one. This is I think this is the older one with the clips. I remember another one where the clip was part of the throwout bearing. This one has these little like paper clips that hold it on. See the paper clips? And they spin around and they snap in the back and they literally just hang there in a groove just to keep the thing in place. It's pretty cool. This is the second type I've seen. Like I said, the other ones were like just a snap-on type thing. It snaps into place. When you adjust it now, this thing will come out and just kiss the flywheel one. That's how you adjust with the nut. The nut will bring it all the way out. I might have to pull my rod and cable and all that stuff in yet. I don't even know yet, but I have to get this up tight, and I'm not talking crazy, just right up against the pressure plate as good as I can get it. There's a set range, I believe, but I know what it is. When you can push this thing forward by hand and it hits that, that's when you hit the plate. So that's where you put the wing nut. That's how I've always done it. And I have a cool little tool, a little part that I'm going to show everybody. It's an electrical connector that allows you to lay 2 cables side by side and just crimp them together. So if this was too short, my pedal had to go too far forward, of which it shouldn't, because I used a factory hook and I kind of raised it up a little bit. If anything, it's going to have probably too much pull, but that's not a bad thing. I'm going to have a nice throw. But I got a nice little tool that will let me adjust this cable to wherever I want it. And I'm thinking the engine's going to go on real soon, so let's go to the hardware store and get some nuts. I'll be right back. Well, it turns out I had 2 of the 3 nuts, so it's almost time to make this go right there. And I'm going to get 3 of us. It's going to be me, Dawn, and Casey. That puppy should slide right. Look at I'm shaking. So I'll have the nut and washer for this. I have the nut and washer for this. I have the bolt for this. I don't have a nut for this. I will find one. I know I got one in here. No, I got one in here. Those are for the top of the springs on the springer front end. I have another box of nuts and bolts and stuff here, but I don't think I have anything that big. If anything, you know what? Believe it or not, the star nut for the adjustable brakes is the same thread. Not that I would use that, but just a thought. Check the other side here. Here we go. Is that it? No, that ain't it. That's too big. That is it right there. That is it. And I can tell that is it because it will thread on this nut if I can get it on that nut. Yeah, that's it. I just can't do it left-handed. Oh, I did it. I did it. Yep. That's all we need. That one goes right there on this bolt, but I need a washer. Not a big deal. Unless I lose it. Here it is. I'm going to wire brush this clean. Give me a nice thick washer. Give me a Volkswagen washer. Yeah, that's a nice thick washer right there. There we go. There we go. Alright, that's prepped. These two nuts are ready to go for the bottom. We'll put them on this wheel. We are almost ready. Alright, I gotta get the gang. Don came over and his daughter's friend, big kid, nice kid named Christian, and they helped me pick it up and put it in place. Well, that's not in place. That's in place. It's sitting a little low right now. It's actually almost level because I have no air in the air shock, so the engine's kind of tilted a little bit. But once I put some air in there, I don't have the lines connected together. You can see them floating in the breeze right there. Looks good. Now we just need my oil pan cover, the shroud, the alternator stand to be done, and could actually put some oil in it and maybe turn it over even. Because we know all the electrical is pretty much done. I could at least turn the engine over. I don't have a battery. The battery I have is too big, and actually I think I gave it to Don. He needed it for one of his things. But this is pretty cool. Let me get you down to that level. Got my fan blowing on me. How cool is that? That was awesome. Alright, let me get this thing in my hand. There we go. I cleaned out the garage a little bit, just enough to roll this thing in. And she's looking good. So, once I get a few more parts, should be able to turn her over. I didn't even expect to get this much done, but our clutch is in, the pressure plate is in, all the bolts are in, everything's torqued. I got to redo the valves. I did something wrong. I caught it the other day in a video. I actually missed one. I still need a bolt for here. No big deal. That's it. We need oil. We need some oil and we need some gas. So nobody rides free. Alright, I'm having fun. I'll do a little more. I'll take a whole bunch of pictures and I'm going in for the night. I think I did one the other day on... no, this was it. This is the biggest thing. I already posted those videos, and there goes my zoom. Woo! This thing is very, very dainty, this camera. I have big hands, and this camera weighs a few ounces. It's crazy. Just touch it and you're in trouble. How cool is that? Alright, man. You guys have a good night. Thank you for watching. It's all about you. Or me riding. One of the two. I'm going in for now. Have a good night. This thing takes up the whole garage. It's pretty big. Excuse me. It's a big machine. I just went and gave Mike his wrench back. Here's my empty table. No more engine stand, Dad. Oh, I did put air in the air shock, so it's come up quite a bit. It's like 6 or 8 inches off the ground now at the exhaust tips, although they are a little turned down, but that's okay. I like that. Looks good. The axles are up. They're not flat out like they were. I could raise the transmission up a little bit in the back if I really had to, but I'm not seeing that. Have a good night.